The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
What is the wildest place you all have sourced a part of a costume?
I thought that question was going to go in a different direction.
Yeah, of course you did.
This was a costume for a show, not a cosplay.
Yeah.
But I did have to go to like 7 different shoe stores, and we actually had to go out of state for them to find women's heels that would fit me properly.
Nice.
So we had to go all the way to Louisville, Kentucky to find women's heels that would fit me for a show that I did once. And that was just time consuming.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of effort to put in. I've been thinking about this. I feel like mine is my fridge because one time for Mystery Detectives, I put a bunch of Pepsi cans in my hair.
Ah.
It's called fashion.
Look it up.
I mean, you know the answer to mine because that's what this question is about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Jake. What's your answer?
Yesterday I bought pirate boots at a Brazilian steakhouse.
And time to let the recap.
And I didn't know this is where we were going.
What?
Okay, so are we all familiar with the concept of a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah.
Where like you pay and they just like keep bringing you meat. Like they got meat on skewers. They just keep coming by your table as long as your little thing is green. You flip it over when it's red. You don't want food anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am now.
Okay. So they've got a uniform though. They're gauchos. So they're all wearing like,
Wait, did you buy this guy's boots off of him?
wait, slow down.
Okay.
They wear like gaucho pants and like a little belt, but they all wear riding boots. They all wear like leather riding boots. And I was looking at one of the guys, I was looking at all their boots, every gaucho that was walking by, but I was like, man, those would be pretty good pirate boots. And so I stopped one of them who had been like otherwise friendly and was like, hey, I got a weird question. Where do you get the boots? Like, I assume you get them when you're hired, but do you know like where the restaurant gets them? And he just kind of like standing there, leans down, like rolls down his boot so he can look at the tag. And he shows me the tag. He's like, this is all I know. Like, you know, we get them when you get hired, but here's the brand.
And then Jake was like, so how hard is it to get hired and how long does it take to get the boots?
Yeah. He was like, you get them immediately. And like I was Googling that brand and I couldn't find anything about that brand online. So at some point, all the managers are kind of like floating from table to table, like, how is everything? Blah, blah, blah. And so one of them stopped by, how is your meal? I was like, great. I have a question. Are you a manager? And they're like, yeah. I was like, do you know about like the boot purchasing process for your employees? And she looked at me like I had 2 heads. And
I can't imagine why, but go on.
And like, I was like, can you tell me like what brand, like where you get them or what they cost or like what they're made of? And she's like, I mean, I know that like in a month we're actually changing to a different uniform, so we're not going to be using those boots anymore. Do you want a pair? Because I can see if we've got some in the back, we're not going to be giving them to new employees anymore. And I was like, sure. And she's like, okay, why do you want them?
Yeah, she goes, why do you want them? Can I ask that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard to not give a joke answer. It was so hard to behave myself.
It's like, I was like, I cosplay, like I want to do a pirate costume, I need new boots. And she's like, oh, okay. So she like goes to the back, and after a while, the dude I had asked just walks out with a pair of boots and like presents them to me. And the other employees all look confused, and then just like one by one
that steak is well done.
They start approaching the table and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you bringing in a pair of our boots? Yeah.
One of us.
One of the guys is immediately like, oh, these boots are not comfortable, you don't want these. One of them's like, do you want the pants and a skewer? And you can start handing out meat too. Like, they all just start like chipping in with what, and I'm fucking taking off my shoes and trying on boots in the middle of a fancy restaurant.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because they're like, try them on. And I'm like, do you want me to follow you somewhere else so I'm not doing this at my table? And they're like,
Where
no.
food is being served.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is exactly what we want. You fucking imbecile. Do this in front of everybody. And then like the lady comes out and is like, yeah, so they're $60. Like, you know, if a employee needed to buy a new pair, it'd be $60. So we can sell them to you for $60. I was like, can can you take my card? Like, can you run my card for boots at a restaurant? And she's like, well, we've got like a uniform purchase in our POS. So yes, I can, as if you were an employee. And I was like, all right. So I hand her my card.
Well, we've been through a lot already, so I guess I'm buying these.
I take my boots. She comes back with the receipt, and I looked at Megan. I was like, I don't tip on boots, right? Like, but got me a new fancy pair of Brazilian black leather riding boots that are going to work good for a lot of costumes, I think. I'm pretty pleased.
Nice.
And then we were leaving. And there's a revolving door at the exit. And Jake and I had different ideas on how many people should fit into one of these sections.
Yeah, so generally, I'd say, one person per segment of a revolving door.
And I thought, too, also I wanted somebody else to push it for me.
Yeah, also she wordlessly brought up the rear and didn't express this idea to me.
And I got 100% slammed in between one of the I don't know frames.
Door.
Yeah,
the doors.
One of the door of the doors.
Partitions.
Yeah, and the frame. And I just went, oh, Jake!
You just pushed through.
A loud clang from her water bottle as it hit, like sounding an alarm. There are 3 hosts at the host stand right there. And I was like, I can't believe, like, those people, they're going to go home and they're going to be like, how's work today, honey? Oh, it was great. Some guy came in, bought our waiter's boots, and then smashed his girlfriend with a door and then left.
And it ruined her shoes, and then she had to buy boots. I'd say Goodwill.
Well, I do want to take a second to give out a congratulations. If you've listened to our Patreon or if you have been on our Twitch channel, you have probably heard one of our longtime supporters, JGameZ, longtime buddy of ours, big supporter of the podcast. He has been on a 6 or 7 year long health journey, and this weekend he did his first triathlon.
Whoa! Congratulations!
Yeah, I just want to wish him. I just want to say congratulations.
Wish him a congrats.
Wish him a congrats. Very cool. He biked, he ran, he swam.
Damn, Joe, good job.
That's like 3 different things.
I know. I can do maybe one of those, let alone all 3 of them in a row.
Let alone all 3 of them simultaneously.
Oh, in a row.
I don't know how triathlons work.
Once again, I have left the patron list at home, so I'm going to throw it to Future Rev to read those patron names. Thank you. Patty Ivers, Carson Potter, Gray Angel, Sydney, Hamilton Otto, Nicole Caruso, Orlando Floyd, Roll Fizzlebeef, Count Bino, Deep Divered, Ryan Wittenberg, and Colton Flick.
Great job, Future Rev.
Good job.
And with that, it's time to let the recap roll.
Maybe we don't have to, sail into the cave or walk in or whatever. I could swim in through the water.
All right, let's go with sending one person in. Even if it does start to go sideways, that's at least an opportunity for us to figure out what type of vampire she is before the fight starts.
A little form swims in front of your face. It's a little seahorse.
Can I help you?
It gives you a little nod.
What do you need help with?
Its little fins, it turns to the side, and it, gestures in a follow me fashion.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow. Does it have fangs?
Little tiny vampire fangs.
You follow it through this little tunnel, and it kind of opens up to where there is more open air here, too, in this little side tunnel. And it actually gets to where it is shallow enough that you can't swim anymore. It's maybe knee deep, so that the seahorse is fine, but it's still gesturing for you to follow.
Yeah, I'll stand up when I get up out of the water.
Okay. It turns around to face you, and you see a little glow in the water around it. And suddenly it shifts and grows. And standing in front of you, aside from the iridescent scales, is the picture image of Kim.
Oh my gosh!
Megan, standing before you, is what could be a twin to Kim, with the iridescent scales of the Seaborn and silver white hair cascading down her back.
Kim?
Kima.
Kima. Kima! You're Kima!
Yes, and you are some sort of merperson?
Sometimes. I didn't know you were alive.
I did not know that you knew me.
I know of you.
Oh, well, is this good news?
Yeah, it's great. What are you doing in here?
I'm trapped here. I am trying to save those that are captured.
What do you mean you're trapped?
It is a long story, but you do not look like those night creatures with the teeth.
No, I'm not. I'm with a group of people who have come here to help.
I had hoped this. There are half a dozen or so. They are in cages. They do not have much time. If we hurry, you may be able to get them out.
Do I have time to get my friends?
I truly do not know. It is about this time that a shipment will come in, and then they are switched out.
Can I use my Fox-eyed oddity to see if, this is actually Kima and if, to make sure she's not being manipulated if it is?
Yes, absolutely. So spend your luck, I say questioningly.
Yes.
Okay. So what you're seeing here from her is that she is on the level. She is worried. As you're kind of seeing the secret thoughts and feelings, she is near panic all the time. There's this urgency to what she's doing right now because it seems like it is the only thing she can do. There's this feeling of entrapment, this feeling of she knows she's stuck here, and so she's trying her best to do what she can with, let's say, fewer tools than she would usually be able to use.
Okay, can you go to the mouth of the cave?
Yes, I can approach it.
Boy, I don't know if you can't actually get out. I don't know if you'll be able to talk to them. I think I have to go back to at least let them know I'll be right back. But if I go in here and something happens to me, they will have no idea what's going on.
I see. Make haste. If the next ship arrives, the beast at the heart of this place will be fed.
I'll be back in a flash. I just jump into the water and I'm swimming right towards the mouth of the cave.
And she follows you as far as she can, transforming back down into the little seahorse form.
I just scoop her up in one of my hands and swim, so she doesn't have to try and keep up with me. I just bring her with.
Okay. And there's a point where she just slips out of your hand. There's this sort of unseen barrier that you hit near the mouth of the cave, and she just kind of floats there waiting.
Hey, guys.
What, are you okay?
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta get in there. I didn't see anything yet, but I'm at you. I'm at Kima.
She's alive?
She's alive. She's in here. And she said that there's people being held in cages.
Did you see any other way in than the water? Did you see any moonlight coming in through the ceiling or anything?
No, I don't think there are any other entrances, at least not from above.
Oh, man. All right. I jump in the water.
I do the same.
As you all approach, this little seahorse looks very confused and surprised as Kim swims up. And you all watch her shimmer and grow into this seaborn.
You are her. You are what I felt.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay. I had a vision of you almost dying. What happened?
I was dying. The Moonchild, do you know this creature?
Yeah.
You are here for her, to kill her.
Well, at least to stop her from killing everybody else.
She nods.
She was tearing through my troops. She got to me. She began to drink my blood. She siphoned my strength, my sorcery. I could feel my spells, the magic fading from me, and so, with the little strength that I had, I used the only spell left to me, which was to transform into a creature of the sea. I still do not know why I cannot leave these caves. There is some force that is keeping me here. I think the beast cannot leave the caves, and since she has siphoned some of my essence, I cannot leave either.
So the people in cages, did they just come in yesterday?
Yes.
All right, so the Shrouded One is waiting on the back half of a shipment. That's what we were supposed to be.
Oh, the shipment is not coming?
No.
Well, this is either very good or very bad.
Well, we knew she was going to be expecting something, so it feels like that clock is definitely ticking now.
Yes, Pepper. She hunts me. I was able to free several prisoners over the last few weeks, but I think she has discovered at least part of what was happening, and the protections there are stronger, and I cannot get anyone out anymore on my own. But she hunts. She rarely leaves the caves.
She's here.
Somewhere, yes. The caves are vast, and it is a labyrinth.
I want to dig in my bag and pull out a piece of parchment. Kima, have you seen anything that looks kind of like this? And I want to show her an example of the circles, the spell circles, to see if there are any runes or anything that she might have spotted in these caves.
She nods immediately.
Yes, there is a pattern much like this in the room where my people were killed. The room is bioluminescent, algae covering everything, but the etchings are underneath it on the ceiling.
Do we want to try to present the ship coming in, or do we just want to walk in there in the water and try to hunt this hunter?
Well, we got to get these people out first.
I mean, if she's distracted with the ship.
Yeah, I wonder if the ship is a good distraction or if we need it to load those folks on and get them out of here. We don't know if we can turn it around once it's in here.
Reach in my pocket and pull out the keys. It has been over 2 weeks.
We could beep beep.
What is beep beep?
You'll find out.
The rarest magic.
Oh.
Okay, so we send one ship in as a distraction. We try and get these people out, get them on our ship, and then come back in and try to deal with Pepper Anson?
Yeah, it feels like if we're trying to take care of her and get these people out at the same time, they've almost got to be at the same time. Like, one group's got to be a distraction dealing with her, while another group is trying to get these people out of the cave.
What about the Moonchild? What are we going to do when we come face to face with Malia?
You will not have to worry about the Moonchild unless you go into her lair. It is a very specific and closed-off section of the caves. It is only opened by Pepper.
It is only opened by her, or it can only be opened by her?
It can be opened by force, but she has some magic that can manipulate the rock easily, swiftly.
Okay, good. Then we don't have to worry about her ambushing us, and we don't necessarily have to worry about keeping Pepper alive.
I can swim in farther and kind of keep with the original plan, see if I can see these cages, and if there's nobody in the room, I can start busting them open so we can get people out quickly, and then you guys come in with the other ship?
I mean, it might be best just to have one person run the ship in and everybody else on the exit crew. I could do that. I'm not the strongest in the water. I certainly can't carry a human person out of here, so I can just run the ship aground in here while you are all breaching and taking people.
You shouldn't be by yourself when you do that, though, because you're going to draw the attention of Pepper Anson.
What do you recommend?
I am not equipped to do anything but kill, so rescuing people, especially when you're defenseless, seems like a horrible use of my abilities.
Okay, so me and you on the boat?
Yeah, let's do 2 and 2.
There is a bit of swimming to get to where the cages are, but it is in a room. It was clearly made so that I could not swim in undetected and mess with the locks.
Do you mean like protected it against your magic?
No, I have no more magic but this transformation. I was literally swimming in. They were half-submerged cages. Once she figured out, I think, what was happening, she moved them, somewheres that I cannot as easily sneak into. But if she is distracted by this other ship, this is a good plan to get to those people.
What's difficult about it? Will we be able to get through?
Yes, it is a room built into the cavern with a door. It is a locked door, so that has stopped me, of course. By the time I tried to fiddle with anything, I can hear her coming, and I had to flee.
We'll swim ahead and get in position and meet up with you guys when we can.
Okay, Landara, let's head back.
Yeah.
I will lead the way.
And she moves further down the hall until it gets deep enough again to transform down into the seahorse and leads you underwater through these tunnels. After a short little swim, you come up into another long hall that splits off in a few directions, and she indicates straight ahead.
It is down this direction. It takes a few turns, but there are no other ways to go. The door is at the end.
Are we in a place that we'll be able to hear the ship from here?
If they are loud enough, yes. It does echo through here. You can sometimes hear the people crying for help echoing through all parts of the cave.
All right, then I say we wait here in case she does come this direction. We're not literally backed into a corner.
All right, those of you going to get the ship, your crew is certainly ready to help out here. The shoremen are like letting you take the ship and are going to step away, stay on yours, keep Casal safe. They still don't seem happy about it, but they have stayed true to their word so far.
Fair.
All right, let's get this thing mobile enough that 2 of us can crew it into the tunnel and then just beeline it in, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do we want to, fire the cannons or anything just for dramatic effect, get more attention? Or do we, I guess let's wait until maybe she gets eyes on us or the reverse.
Oh, sure, and then we can just fire the cannon at her.
Yeah, like if we have to fire the cannon, it might as well be doing some real good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we don't know where the prisoners are. Let's not fire
That's
cannons
a great point.
willy-nilly into the
let's
cave.
keep this low-key for now.
Okay, so your crew is ready to at least help you get everything set and ready so that you have as little to do as possible. I think what this is going to have to look like for only 2 of you is more or less they're helping you get this ship aimed so that it just goes straight in, right? And so that it's very minimal, any of the little kind of winding turns you might have to take inside. So I think this is going to be an outmaneuver here to like put your opponent in a bad position. So who is heading that up?
I had such a good outmaneuver before. I think
It's time for a comeback.
I think I've got this.
You got to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I know what I did wrong last time. I'll just
Yeah.
not do that.
What are this ship's stats?
This ship has a +1 speed. This is, a smaller, lither shoreman ship, so they're built for speed.
Nice. 8.
Okay, so you get into the tunnels. You're making your way in, and you're able to take a few of these shallow turns, getting deeper and deeper into these caves. Landara, you start to notice hanging from the ceiling of these caves are what at first you might think are like some sort of seaweed or something. But with a little bit of light shed, you realize that it is some sort of cloth. This long, like black cloth, just dozens and then hundreds of them just swaying in the light breeze washing through this cave. And you get the sense that, about halfway in, about halfway to your goal here, this is her hunting ground.
Mm-hmm.
She has these set up. We're not exactly sure how it works necessarily, but that is her calling card. That was what was described as what she was hunting or using to hunt in the city. So it occurs to you, if you want to really seize this opportunity, you're going to have to start making noise now on your way into your goal, as opposed to waiting till you get into that open cavern to try to draw the attention there. Because if you don't, she's just going to spring on you before you get there, and your friends may not hear it.
I will indicate them to Jake, kind of glance up at them and draw my gun. We got to make some noise.
Still not cannon noise though, right? I'm like I've like lit a match and I'm like holding it over a cannon, but I'm like, no, like shaking my head. No, this is bad. This is bad. I shake the match out.
You'll know when it's time. You just got to look deep inside.
I had a dream about this.
She's like, you'll know when it's time. And he's like, yeah, it's time.
Yeah. And I'm going to fire my gun at some of those hanging cloths.
Absolutely. And when you do, you notice them recoil. Like there's a shift in them as like your bullets hit. They like retract from the area of impact, and like the rest of them are trying to avoid getting hit. And you watch that domino effect as the rest of them in your small field of view with the ship's lanterns have this ripple effect that goes down the cave and out of sight. Pretty obvious that it's some sort of warning system.
It's like a spider web. That's cool.
Kim and Megan, as you're sitting there with Kima, it's distant, but you do hear a couple of gunshots. Nothing as loud as a cannon, certainly, but just a couple of quick gunshots, and then it's quiet again.
That'd be Landara.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, and we're heading towards the door.
All right. Yep, you have that little jaunt of a swim, and then pop up into that hallway. And Kima comes with you, and you're able to make your way around a couple of turns. There are lanterns and stuff set up through here. And eventually you get to a wooden door just set in the middle of the tunnel. It just looks like somebody had built up some walls set in this door and has a big padlock coming through the handle. There are also little bars that you can see in.
I'll whip out the thieves' tools that I got from Landara and try to open the door.
All right, let's see a break-in.
I don't suppose using these tools gives me a bonus on this roll or anything.
Yeah, I would call that a +1.
Yeah. 9.
Can I help out with that?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I think I'm just holding the lock and like stabilizing things for Kim so that she can focus on like listening for the clicks and like feeling for when the locks pop exactly how they need to.
Nice, okay, spend that bond, and that bumps you to a 10. So you just have to choose one from the list.
I suffer harm or mark of trouble.
I think this is going to be harm. As you work on this lock, you finally feel it give, and the padlock clicks. And there's a small explosion, and all three of you go tumbling down the hall. Kim, you take 1 point of harm as this shrapnel from the lock that has exploded has dug into your hands and forearms. Kima quickly gets to her feet.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. Are you all right?
Yes, I wish I had my magic. I could have gotten through a simple door.
And she's just clearly very, very frustrated by the lack of what she could usually do here.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's open. Let's go. And I'm pushing forward towards the door that's open now.
Yeah, it's almost blown off of the hinge. So you're able to push that open and get into this room that is literally absolutely nothing in the room except for the back half of it is a cage. And there are half a dozen people now on their feet, holding onto the bars, looking out in confusion and worry. One or two of them are actually like sitting at the back, cowering in fear.
We're good. We're friends. We're here to get you out of here.
They all look like shoremen. Only one of them seems to comprehend the language and nods. Please help. Get this out. Get this out.
I'm looking around. Are there keys anywhere in this room?
There are not.
Thieves' tools to the rescue.
Okay, give me just a straight vinegar roll here
No.
to figure out this lock. But you have thieves' tools. You get a +1.
I'll spend a point of luck.
Okay.
11.
Hell yeah, you're able to get this open fast. This one is nothing compared to that trick lock, and you're able to bust it open. And Kima's grinning at you too.
That is faster than if I would have had my magic. I expected, if you had heard my thoughts, that you would also be a sorceress, but you have many other skills.
I do. I do have magic. Not so much in this world, but in the world that I came from. Can you see the future too? We'll talk about this later.
Yes, we must go.
Back on the ship, ahead you see that it gets very dark further past these drooping cloths from the ceiling. It looks like this is going to open up into this bigger cavern. And what you're seeing ahead are all of these cloths dangling down. They're all just swaying, twitching. Not like with the wind like they had been. They seem to be moving on their own, and some of them are getting lower.
Is this like a cloth equivalent of a bat swarm? Is she going to coalesce out of all these little bits of cloth and jump us?
No, I feel like the way they described it was like tentacles, like just her feelers out everywhere.
Ah.
And I want to just sit for a second in silence and see if I can sense her around somewhere, like an actual person moving in all of this stillness and these creepy hanging cloths.
Absolutely. Let's see a size up.
I want to spend one of my points of luck.
Okay.
8.
All right, you get a hold 1, or you can stick your nose somewhere you shouldn't for an extra.
Where's the true danger lurking?
You're onto her pretty quickly as you're like closing your eyes and listening and taking in this cavern. You're starting to hear those cloths like rustling. It almost seems like they're moving on a path, right? But you instantly get that feeling of like, that's where she wants you to look. She's making these move in different patterns on different sides to make people go, what's up there? What's up there? It's the spot that isn't making noise that you realize you should be paying attention to.
I'm going to lean on Jake's cannon and tilt it in that area and give him a nod.
I nod. And I strike a match. I'm like hiding it from that direction behind my hand, leaning very casually over the cannon, touching the match to the wick, trying to make enough noise to cover the sound of a wick burning. Great cargo we got on this one.
Just start howling.
I won't make you roll a hoodwink to muffle this noise, but you are going to need to roll get into a scrap.
Okay. That's a 10.
Nice.
Would you like to avoid harm or take the ante?
I will take the ante.
You fire this cannon, and you hear a horrific shriek of pain, and of course, an impact and stone shattering. An instant after that, these clothy vines spread down from the ceiling, grabbing onto the side of the ship, and just pull up on just that one side, and the whole ship tips over, and you both go careening into the water in the cave. There's only one lantern left that's sticking up out of the water with dim light in this very large area.
I would like to spend a black mark.
Okay.
I want to use Jump and Jack Flash, take a black mark to escape a currently perilous situation, even if it seems impossible. I would like to not go into the water. I'd like to go in her direction.
Oh, okay.
But I do have to roll this, because on a mixed success, I become bloodthirsty.
Ooh, okay.
11.
Hell yeah.
And that fills my black mark tracker.
Oh!
Oh, boy.
So tell us what happens.
When you fill the tally up, choose an enemy that you've made. They show up right here, right now, and then I reset my count. I think it's got to be the folks from the Red Herring, They noticed our ship is gone. I've interacted with them a bunch. I've been asking questions. They might have had time to, like, send word to Dorva saying, hey, that was a clever idea. And Dorva went, what are you talking about?
Oh, I like that. So the ship is tipping over. Jake goes careening into the water, but you're able to run off towards her and jump and land on a little ledge of rock. And you realize that there are like pathways all along the outer edge of this cavern. And the shriek and the impact that you had heard were not far up, just right above where you're standing. You also see another lantern light illuminating the entrance as a rowboat swiftly pulls in with 3 figures, and you notice the person you had talked to aboard the Red Herring holding a lantern and a rifle at the front. In the hallways, you have gotten all of these shoremen out of the cage, and they're following you down the tunnels. And Kima's looking back.
We are trying to take them to the cavern?
Yeah, we're gonna have a ship ready to go, and we'll get everyone on there.
All right, this way.
And at one of the crossroads before the little watery area where she had brought you in originally, she turns and she starts running, taking a few turns seemingly at random, but with confidence.
I know these tunnels well. I have not gone this way much because the largest cavern is where Peppa seems to spend most of her time. I do not want to get caught there. But if that is where your friends will be waiting, this is the way.
Following her.
And as you're running, you hear a cannon shot pretty fucking close, and some rock tumbling and some splashing.
Everybody keep your head down. Be careful.
They slow as you make your way in, and this gets down into the water. You're about chest deep for the last little stretch, and it opens up into this big cavern, and you see a rowboat pulling in with 3 seaborn, and one of them is looking around. He doesn't quite spot you just where you're at the edge of the cavern here. But one of them very clearly has fangs as he's like looking around with a grimace. The other 2 seem normal.
Was this part of your crew?
Nope, sure isn't.
Jake, in the water, I think you're able to clearly see this rowboat pulling up as well.
Keys! Keys!
I throw him back over my shoulder.
Okay.
I'm going to catch him and I'm going to swim toward that rowboat.
Okay. I think they can see you in the water, a monkey swimming straight at them at high speed.
Terrifying.
High speed.
I swim up, like, wait until they can see me, and I kind of look at them for a second, and then I just fucking scream as loud as I can to try and discombobulate them before I dive down and try and swim under the rowboat.
Awesome. Give me a dirty trick here. I think this will be looped into you if you're going to use the clicker now, or are you holding off on that?
I will use the clicker once I'm underneath them.
All right, let's see what this dirty trick gets you.
We love dropping this ship on people.
It's a good trick, and I don't think this will destroy it.
Yeah.
I will spend a luck.
I swear to God, if this thing is still on fire.
That's a 12.
Do you want to do this with no catch or take the ante with them?
I will do no catch.
All right, you get underwater. They're very confused. The guy at the front was leveling his rifle down at you, not sure what to do about a swimming angry monkey. You shriek, he takes a step back, you get underwater, and you press the button, and then you can feel the pressure change as this ship appears. And then underwater, I think you can hear the crunching and screaming of pain as this ship crushes this dinghy.
I point at the ship that just appeared and turn to Kima. That's our ship.
You truly are a sorceress.
All right, everybody on.
And they start rushing for the ship. Landara, you are hearing that shift again of the cloth above you, but intermittently you hear this like a wheeze of pain as well echoing around the cave.
Yeah, I want to stow my gun and reach into my bag and pull something out, and I'm going to yell over my shoulder, keep her distracted. I got to get this to the middle. Make sure she doesn't get hands on it. And I'm going to start running, not at her, but like past her as if I didn't know she was there.
Okay.
I'm trying to bait her into thinking what I have she wants.
Okay, I think this one's a hoodwink.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know that we've read this one yet, so I'm going to just in case. So hoodwink, when you hoodwink someone with a clever lie or disguise, roll plus polish. On a hit, they've bought your story for now. On a 7 to 9, the deception is more fleeting than you'd like, or it works far too well, and that is my choice. So let's see. A hoodwink.
Do you think that my information from Size Up
Yes.
still adds up here?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
I'm going to spend one more point of luck.
Okay.
11.
Hell yeah. You get ahead of her where you're certain she is, and you know that she's fallen for it because you're hearing that telltale shifting of the cloth above you, making it seem like, where you're following is, she assumes you're following where she thinks you think she is.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
I don't know. I'm lost as hell.
Cool. But you've got her location pinpointed for certain.
And are the tentacles, what are they doing? Are they just kind of sensing? Are they reaching? What's their deal?
At the moment, it just seems like they're making that shifting noise, like she is utilizing them to draw attention herself.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start leaving openings for them to grab it from me. Like, I'm going to start carrying it not quite as closely, like I'm fumbling, I'm trying to sidestep stuff to give her the window to grab it.
Yeah, I mean, she's falling for this ruse. So as you're making your way, I think, you have to dodge a couple that are lashing at you to try to hurt you. But even that seems like a feint, so that as you dodge one way, more are waiting, and one grabs this bundle in your hand.
Yeah, I let go of it after a brief moment of struggle and jump to the side. And it is my explosive that I will now mark off of my equipment list.
There's like a 3-second pause as more of these things are lashing at you as you dodge to the side, and then there's an explosion and another shriek of pain. And behind you, she falls to the cavern floor. You can see her there, smoking, covered in char, this smallish, athletic form that had been wrapped in all of these rags and wrappings. They're just falling off of her, some of them singed and burning. The cowl that had clearly been around her face is drooped, and half of her jaw is missing. One of her arms is gone entirely.
Oh.
And that looks like that was probably the cannon that had done that. And this explosion had charred her other side. And she's looking around into the darkness, eyes angry. Kim and Megan, as you're ushering the shoremen into the water to get up to the IPT cruise, you're seeing Jake in the water swimming towards you and 3 bodies floating of Seaborn. But one of the bodies, as you're halfway across, starts to shift and twitch, its broken body seeming to mend itself, the snapped bones shifting back into place.
I would love to use my superstition book.
Ah, yes. What knowledge about this general situation are you invoking here?
The condition for this book is that I must invoke knowledge about the target, and the more intimate the knowledge, the more devastating the mishap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know I have learned that the only way to kill these vampires is to behead them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's pretty intimate.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Cool. So using that, invoking that knowledge, I would like to cause a mishap here. There's been a lot of cannon fire, a lot of stuff going on in this cave. I think some stalactites get dislodged and drop right in this guy's neck.
So we need to roll a mysterious power here.
Actually, I'm going to use my new move that I took, Zainzucht, which lets me spend a bond with a crewmate who's currently aiding me to use a book's power as if I had rolled a 10+. So I will go ahead and spend my last bond with Kim and do a 10+ on that.
That's awesome. Do you want this to exact a personal cost or surge out of control?
I think surge out of control. I think it's going to be really difficult to pinpoint to just one stalactite to fall.
No problem, then. You all watch as these stalactites start to fall down, splashing into the water. Any of you deep enough, watch one hit that vampire at the base of the neck. And I mean, I think it technically counts as decapitation if mid-shoulder up is just gone,
He's like, you missed. Just bobbing about in the water.
But one of them also crashes into the IPT cruise.
Oops, not again.
So your
We
ship,
just fixed it.
your nice, shiny, beautiful new ship takes one wreck.
The goose gets decapitated.
Oh no!
Don't do that to the goose, not the goose.
No, that goose, nothing will happen. It doesn't matter what happens to this ship, that goose is going to make it.
That goose is going to stay dilapidated.
Yeah.
But
We're gonna
unharmed.
float atop that goose through the portal.
Yeah, so it crashes down, skids along the side, causing some damage that you're going to have to deal with, but it is certainly still seaworthy as these prisoners that you're helping are able to scramble up the side and get on deck.
Nice. Where's Pepper Anson right now?
Now I think you can all see her on the far side of this cavern where the water has gotten shallower and become this walkway along the edges. You can see Landara tucked off to the side, and just slightly around the corner from her is Pepper Anson, looking in rough shape, but scanning both the water and the edges of the cave.
Can I shoot a cannon at her?
Yeah. Roll, get into a scrap.
8.
So you take this shot and hit her like on the right side of her hip with this cannonball, and one of her legs goes flying off. She twists around and hits the wall, sliding down. And even from this distance in the dark, you can see the glint of her eyes connect with yours. And there's this odd distortion, this odd twisting of space. Your ears pop, and then you're looking at the ship from the side where she had been sitting, and you see her on deck twisting like this broken, horrific crab, one arm left, one leg left, and she turns and starts skittering towards one of the escaped prisoners.
Damn it! I start swimming back towards the ship.
Jake and Megan, you're seeing Pepper Anson, twisted, broken, literally charred, but just roaring in frustration, skittering across the deck towards one of the closest of these shoreman survivors and about to leap onto them.
Would this count as a new land creature or phenomenon? Like, I know that I've looked over the vampire that we questioned earlier, but she seems to have a much different power set.
Yeah.
Could I roll my Lorekeeper move for this?
Yeah, definitely.
7.
So you know stories clearly about vampires, but also just immortal beings that have popped up in many different cultures, folklores, and so on. One that occurs to you in this moment, seeing how agile and ferocious she still is, even though she looks like she should be unable to move. I mean, even vampires, having been messed up this bad, should not be able to do this, right? So, like, stories are occurring to you of this person that had been beheaded and a few years later showed up again, and then he'd been impaled and showed up a few years later. And over again, all of these different deaths had befallen him, and yet still he seems to remain. And just seeing her like this, there's just that vibe of, this is an old vampire. This is a very strong being. Like you said, it's not like these other little guys that you've been seeing around. There's just something more to her. Just that vibe of doing a thing to kill her. Well, what is that thing? So many others are immortal, are old, have endured so much and kept coming back. Those types of stories are what are just right there at the front of your mind.
Okay, I will take book fever to know what the grain of truth in that story is.
Okay, yeah, mark your book fever. So what occurs to you instantly? A being like this, doing a thing to kill her isn't going to work. More or less in unison, you have to do all of the things to kill her. So for a vampire in particular, someone this old, this strong, you think it might do it if you go with the old tried and true, stake her in the heart with a wooden stake, behead her, and rip out her vampire fangs at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
You know you have to do this because of how strong she is, how fast she regenerates, that given enough time, if you don't do all three at once, she will regenerate. But if she's able to feed, she will regenerate much, much faster. That thought occurs to you as she grabs onto one of the survivors and digs her fangs into their neck.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.